Right now, we are following a critical shortage of foster care parents here in Georgia.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic, they have seen interest in becoming a foster parent drop by about 50%, but at the same time, the number of kids still needing care remains the same.
Right now, more than 11,000 children are in Georgia's foster care system.
There simply aren't enough foster families.
In 2015, a little girl was leaving the Cherokee County Courthouse with who would be her forever parents. She was only 11 months old, but this would already be her third home. And yet, her story is an exception in so many ways. She was in an adoptive home before age 1. She always had a huge community and family surrounding and supporting her. And she's now a happy, thriving, confident 9-year-old. She is my daughter, Riley. She's my world. And while I wouldn't change a thing about the outcomes, those 3 years walking through the system were some of the hardest of my life. I often felt alone and hopeless, and frankly, like I was fighting against the system with which I had shared goals. I vividly remember a court date in which so many of us were there for Riley that we were taking up 2 rows. And the judge asked all of us to stand. When we did, he pointed out that for most kids in and out of his courtroom, there aren't 2 rows of healthy adults there for them, and how lucky Riley is. But my heart broke because that's not lucky. That's what every child deserves. I'm Christy Simmons, co-founder and executive director of Atlanta Angels, working to transform the foster system in Metro Atlanta. I used to say that Riley was my why, but the fact is that my why are the thousands of children still in foster care whose story is not like hers. The current outcomes for children in foster care are bleak. What we see is that lots of people are willing to step up and become foster parents. But in the state of Georgia, we have a consistent shortage of foster homes, because within the first 6 months to a year, over 50% will close their homes because they feel overwhelmed and under-supported. And every time they close their homes, that means that the children in those homes have to move. Children can move up to dozens of times while in foster care. And every move is not only a new trauma, but sets them back 4 to 6 months academically and developmentally. That instability and trauma compounds over time, so that what we see is that less than half of children aging out of foster care will graduate from high school. 4% will make it to college. Over 20% will be homeless within the first year of aging out of foster care. I knew that I wanted to do something. We could adopt as many more kids as our home could hold, and it would just make a small dent. But I knew that we could have bigger impact by getting more adults involved and stepping in to provide that consistent relationship for these families and kids. I was at a conference and learned about National Angels. And as they shared about these highly intentional relational programs who are stepping in, changing the lives of kids and families all across the country, I learned that there wasn't a chapter in Atlanta, and immediately reached out and knew this was it. They sent me the names of a couple other people in Atlanta who had reached out. I met with Alex, who happened to live only a couple miles away from me and was a current foster parent herself. We met at a local coffee shop, hit it off, and began building the foundation for launching Atlanta Angels.
As a former foster parent, I saw my community, which was incredible, show up for me during the beginning, during the excitement. We would have meals, immediate needs met. But then when fostering got really hard, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in, everybody's like, you got it, right? And I knew that I didn't have it a lot of those times. What set Atlanta Angels apart was it was gonna be consistent, it was gonna be monthly. A lot of times I hear, well, why should I be passionate about foster care? Foster care honestly touches every single area of human services in our community. Everything from human trafficking to teen pregnancy to homelessness. If we can go upstream and provide consistent monthly support and change those outcomes now, it will solve so many different areas in our community that will create everlasting change.
What we know is that relationships change everything. And truly the heart of what we do is building healthy relationships. Our intentional giving is just a conduit to building those relationships, and mentorship really can only come out of a solid relationship. We support the entire family, including adoptive children, biological children, kinship parents, because what we know is that the experience of foster care impacts everyone in the family. As we come in and provide that support to fostering families, what we see is that homes stay open longer. And what we're seeing with our kids in Dare to Dream is that they're able to explore who they are. They're able to dream for the first time, maybe, about what life might look like for them, getting jobs, going to college. Our programs are working. And our vision is that every family who fosters would have that sort of radical support. And every child and youth would have that same opportunity to reach their fullest potential. I'll never forget when I heard a statistic that stopped me in my tracks. It said that 2/3 of youth who age out of foster care will be homeless, in prison, trafficked, or dead within 1 year. My first thought was that could have been my daughter. For me, this is incredibly personal, but I want it to be personal for you too. Because these are not stories or statistics or numbers. These are real children here in your communities, in your neighborhoods, and in your kids' schools. Not everyone is called to foster or adopt, but everyone can do something. There are so many ways that you can step in and use your time, talent, or finances to support. There is a place for everyone to step in and fill the gap and help change the foster system in Metro Atlanta.